I'm not an athlete. I've never stood on a podium, never heard a national anthem played just for me, never felt the weight of a medal around my neck. But for as long as I can remember, I have always been a big fan, not just of the sport, but of the story, of the courage, of the fight behind the finish line. There's something about watching someone give everything they have to run faster, to jump higher, to land that one perfect moment that reminds me how powerful we all can be, right? I was just a kid in the Philippines when I first felt it. I think it was third grade. I remember distinctly that block. We had this little school race just around that block. No medals, no crowds, just our classmates, pretending it was the Olympics. And I won. No, actually, I think I did get a medal. I remember the cheers, even if they were just from a few teachers and my friends and schoolmates. The way it felt, it was like flying, that joy, that electricity, that little spark. It stayed. We didn't have a lot of access to international sports back then. No live broadcasts, no social media, that's for sure. Just the occasional news report on TV and the newspaper. I'd flip to the back pages, hoping to see, track results, swimming, waiting to read if the names I had started to memorize had done something great, both locally and internationally. Carl Lewis, Evelyn Ashford, Florence Griffith Joyner. These are the names that seemed larger than life. Their faces weren't just athletes to me, they were proof that something big was actually out there. Something fast. Something beautiful, something I could feel even from far away. Then in 1992, I moved to the United States. It was a big change. New culture, new pace, new everything. But one constant, sports. That same year, I saw Chris Yamaguchi win Olympic gold in figure skating. I didn't even know much about figure skating before that. I've seen it on TV, that's for sure. But I didn't really have to know a lot. You could just feel it, the grace, the strength, the nerves, the triumph, the excitement, the agony. I was hooked. Then came the Barcelona Olympics, and gymnastics stole my attention. I watched routines with awe, how a person could twist and flip and land so precisely, how they held the world's pressure in a single breath. It didn't matter if I wasn't the one on the mat or on the track. In those moments, I was part of something larger. And that feeling has never left. Over the years, I found myself falling for other sports too. Not all at once, but slowly, event by event, story by story. Swimming, diving, tennis, basketball, baseball, football, even the ones I didn't understand right away. Curling! I learned to appreciate what made each one special. I guess I really just had that openness and interest and curiosity. But track and field, that's always been home. The speed, the drama, the way a 10-second race can hold years of sacrifice, the way these athletes wait 4 years for the Olympics, the way silence fills a stadium before the gun goes off, the way a photo finish can make or break a dream. All those were fascinating. I followed it quietly. There weren't always people around me who cared about track, but I did. I always did. I'd stay up late to catch results. Gosh, I'd replay the races as if I'm gonna run them the following day. I'd memorize names even if no one else was watching, I was. And then something shifted. In the last few years, I realized I didn't want to just watch these moments on TV or read about them. I wanted to be there when they happened. I started traveling to sports events with my husband. In 2023, we went to Antwerp, Belgium for the World Gymnastics Championships. I stood in the crowd and saw greatness unfold live. I guess because COVID also kind of gave me that inspiration. I didn't want to see them from the screen anymore, but with my own eyes. And in 2024, we went to the World Figure Skating Championships in Montreal. And we saw the grace, the falls, the comebacks, the artistry. It reminded me that beauty and power can coexist. And then the Olympics in Paris. That was a dream, a memory that will never fade. I watched Simone Biles compete. I saw Carlos Yulo make history for the Philippines, winning 2 gold medals in one Olympics. I watched Noah Lyles sprint his way into legacy. I cheered. I think I cried a little bit. I stood shoulder to shoulder with strangers who all wanted the same thing, to believe in something that is so extraordinary. And there's magic that happens in those places. When you're surrounded by people from all over the world and everyone is cheering, not just for countries or athletes, but for the human spirit. That's why I love sports. Because even if you're not an athlete, like me, never an athlete, even if you're just someone watching from the stands, you still feel connected to the struggle, to the triumph, to the risk of giving everything for one shot at glory. Sports have taught me more about life than any textbook ever did. They've taught me patience. They've taught me that effort sometimes matters more than the result. That losing doesn't mean failure. They've taught me to care, to cry for someone I've never even met, but because I knew their story, to believe in comebacks on the field and in life. And that's why I started this channel. Not to break news, not to be a commentator, not to be an educator per se, but to tell stories. To share what it feels like to be there in the arena, in the crowd, in the moment. And to connect those stories to our daily lives. Because sometimes watching someone chase their dream reminds us to chase ours. And this channel is about more than sports. It's about joy. It's about resilience. It's about healing and finding hope in unexpected places. It's about remembering who we are and who we're still becoming. So if you've ever cried during a medal ceremony, if you've ever screamed at your screen during a final, if you've ever felt like cheering for someone you've never met, then you belong here. This is a space for fans, for dreamers, for people in progress. Once again, I'm Carl, host of the channel Carl Ventures, and this is my story behind the finish line. Because sport isn't just something we watch, it's something we feel, something we carry, and sometimes it's the thing that keeps us going. Subscribe if you love sports, travel, human stories, and a little bit of heart. New videos every week. Let's celebrate the beauty of chasing dreams together. Peace and blessings. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more.